Look up at the unyielding dome of the Pantheon, a massive, unreinforced expanse of stone that has defied gravity and the elements for nearly 2 millennia. Modern structural engineers look at this architectural marvel and often experience a profound sense of cognitive dissonance, because a modern concrete structure of similar design would likely develop catastrophic microcracks and fail within a single human lifetime. We are taught that human progress is a strictly linear ascent, yet this ancient edifice stands as a silent monolithic refutation of our supposed technological supremacy. For generations, the prevailing historical and architectural consensus offered a rather dismissive explanation for this enduring legacy. The official story insisted that the longevity of these structures was merely the result of a lucky survival, a fortunate combination of benign Mediterranean climates, and the sheer brute force thickness of the walls. Historians and material scientists alike assume that ancient builders simply over-engineered their monuments, piling on excess material to compensate for a primitive understanding of load-bearing mechanics. This comfortable assumption of modern superiority begins to crumble when we examine the actual material the ancients used, a substance known as opus caementicium, or traditional Roman concrete. Unlike modern mixtures, this ancient building material was deployed in some of the most hostile environments imaginable, including brutal marine settings where relentless waves and corrosive saltwater batter the structures daily. Instead of eroding or spalling away like modern seawalls, these 2,000-year-old submerged piers and breakwaters have inexplicably grown stronger and more resilient over the centuries. The key to this impossible durability was hidden in plain sight, dismissed by modern experts as a sign of poor quality control. When researchers recently placed samples of ancient Roman harbor walls under high-powered electron microscopes, they focused on tiny, bright white mineral chunks scattered throughout the matrix. These millimeter-scale inclusions, known as lime clasts, were long assumed to be the result of sloppy mixing practices, a byproduct of lazy laborers failing to properly sift their raw materials before pouring the foundation. We now know that this assumption was entirely backward, rooted in a modern bias that equates ancient techniques with inherent flaw. These supposedly accidental lime clasts were actually the crucial component of a highly deliberate, high-tech engineering process that modern science is only just beginning to comprehend. The ancients were not making mistakes. They were intentionally introducing a reactive chemical agent into the heart of their building materials, creating a dynamic substance that actively responds to environmental stress. The secret lies in a perilous and sophisticated manufacturing technique known as hot mixing. Instead of slaking the quicklime with water before adding it to the aggregate, as modern cement producers do, Roman engineers mixed highly reactive quicklime directly with volcanic ash at extreme temperatures. This violent, exothermic reaction fundamentally altered the chemical architecture of the mixture, preventing the quicklime from fully dissolving and intentionally locking those reactive lime clasts within the hardened matrix of the stone. By trapping these reactive pockets within the structure, the builders effectively created a self-healing concrete. When the earth shifts or a heavy load causes microscopic fissures to form in the structure, water inevitably seeps into the crack. In a modern building, this moisture would freeze, expand, and rust the internal steel rebar, tearing the structure apart from the inside out in a matter of decades. In the ancient matrix, however, that intruding water acts as a catalyst rather than a destroyer. The moisture hits the dormant lime clasts, instantly creating a calcium-saturated chemical solution that flows into the microscopic voids. As this solution cures, it recrystallizes as calcium carbonate, effectively gluing the crack back together before it can spread, completely healing the wound in the stone and restoring the structural integrity of the monument. This extraordinary capability was not a localized fluke or a closely guarded secret of a single master architect. We find explicit instructions regarding Roman concrete in the surviving treatises of ancient engineers like Vitruvius and the encyclopedic writings of Pliny the Elder. They laid out strict, uncompromising recipes for construction, insisting that builders must use a specific type of volcanic ash, known as pozzolana, sourced exclusively from the fiery geological zones around the Bay of Naples. For centuries, classical scholars translating these texts treated these highly specific material requirements as mere regional preferences or superstitious traditions. The academic establishment viewed Vitruvius through the lens of art history rather than hard science, assuming his insistence on specific volcanic sands was driven by local availability rather than a profound understanding of molecular chemistry. They failed to recognize that these ancient texts were in fact rigorous chemical formulas disguised as architectural guidelines. Recognizing this forgotten expertise forces us to entirely reevaluate the logistical and intellectual foundations of the Roman Empire. Their unprecedented expansion across 3 continents was not merely a triumph of military tactics, but a victory of advanced materials science. The ability to construct deep-water ports, sprawling aqueduct networks, and massive vaulted ceilings depended entirely on a material that actively fought its own degradation, allowing the empire to build infrastructure on a scale previously thought impossible. To truly grasp the magnitude of this lost knowledge, we must contrast it with the foundational material of our modern world. Portland cement, the binder used in nearly all contemporary construction, relies on a passive, static chemical bond that is designed to be inert once it sets. It is a material built for immediate strength and rapid deployment, prioritizing the speed of modern supply chains over the generational durability required to build a lasting civilization. The uncomfortable truth is that our modern reliance on Portland cement represents a massive technological regression in the realm of material longevity. We traded eternal durability for fast-setting convenience, creating a built environment that is inherently fragile and doomed to crumble. The assumption that our contemporary engineering is the pinnacle of human achievement blinds us to the reality that we are living in glass houses surrounded by decaying infrastructure that pales in comparison to the resilience of antiquity. The sheer brilliance of the ancient method becomes even more apparent when we examine core samples extracted from the submerged breakwaters at Portus Cosanus. Here, researchers discovered that the ancient engineers actually weaponized the corrosive power of the ocean itself. When seawater infiltrates the volcanic ash and lime mixture in these marine structures, it triggers a highly complex chemical reaction that dissolves the volcanic glass and promotes the growth of rare interlocking minerals like aluminum tobermorite. The formation of these rare crystalline structures actually reinforces the concrete over centuries, increasing its tensile strength long after the original builders have turned to dust. The ocean, which mercilessly destroys modern seawalls and rusts modern reinforcements within 50 years, is the very catalyst that makes these ancient harbors invincible. The Romans designed their marine infrastructure to actively consume the hostile environment, turning the destructive force of the sea into the very mechanism of its own preservation. The resistance from modern material science to accept this ancient superiority was fierce, rooted in a deeply ingrained chronological snobbery. It is difficult for contemporary experts to admit that a civilization lacking digital modeling, industrial laboratories, or a formal periodic table could manipulate molecular structures with such precise and devastating effectiveness. Acknowledging this reality requires dismantling the comforting illusion that technological progress is a guaranteed, unbroken upward curve throughout human history. Yet the physical evidence scattered across the ruined empire leaves no room for denial. The sheer consistency of these reactive lime clasts across vast geographical distances, from the freezing dampness of Britannia to the scorching deserts of Judea, proves a standardized, empire-wide deployment of this exact chemical process. This was not trial and error. This was a highly regulated, standardized industrial technology that was meticulously taught, carefully transported, and perfectly executed across thousands of miles. This realization fundamentally alters our perception of ancient intellectual life, moving from a view of pragmatic, brute-force builders to an acknowledgement of sophisticated chemists. They may not have possessed the modern vocabulary of molecules and exothermic reactions, but their empirical understanding of geological chemistry was unparalleled. They observed the natural world, noted how volcanic ash reacted with seawater to form solid tough rock, and successfully reverse-engineered a geological process to serve human ambition. The loss of this technology after the collapse of the Western Roman Empire was a catastrophic intellectual dark age. It wasn't just a loss of grand architectural style or administrative organization, it was the total erasure of a profound scientific understanding that humanity would not begin to replicate for over a millennium. The recipe for eternity was lost in the chaos of collapsing trade routes and the burning of ancient libraries, leaving behind only the indestructible monuments themselves as tantalizing clues. The echoes of that long-lost civilization still resonate in the uncracked dome of the Pantheon, silently mocking our modern reliance on planned obsolescence. Every time a modern highway bridge requires extensive repairs after a mere 30 years, the enduring perfection of ancient aqueducts stands as a stark indictment of our disposable culture. We have mastered the art of building quickly, but we have entirely forgotten the science of building forever. By moving from lucky survival to the undeniable proof of deliberate chemical mastery, we change everything we know about the capabilities of antiquity. The narrative of history is not a simple march from ignorance to enlightenment. It is a complex landscape filled with forgotten peaks of technological brilliance that we are only now rediscovering. The true context of these ancient ruins is not one of primitive struggle, but of a lost golden age of material science. The secret to their eternal infrastructure was never about sheer mass, brute force, or fortunate weather. It was about an intimate, highly advanced understanding of the Earth's chemistry, a brilliant manipulation of natural forces to create a living stone that heals its own wound. This is the true legacy of ancient engineering, a profound and forgotten lore written in the very foundations of the ancient world, waiting patiently for us to finally understand its chemical secrets.